Item 1, the pledge tonight will be led by Commissioner Tim Mason and our invocation by Cleveland Net and Cleveland Ministerial Association Representative Stephen Ferrari.
I'll stand. Salute the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jesus, you were born in this little town. You grew up under the authority of local leaders and officials who manage the majority of your daily life. We lift up our local leaders today. We pray for our mayors, city council, county commissioners, and all who serve our local communities. Strengthen them with wisdom and grace for the heavy burden they carry. May they manage their teams and projects with love. Keep their hearts pure and their eyes turned towards your face as they work in the best interest of the people they are called to serve. And Paul wrote to the Ephesians, I keep asking that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the glorious Father, may give you the spirit of wisdom and revelation so that you may know him better. I pray also that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened in order that you may know the hope to which he called you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Now report from our county mayor, Mayor Davis.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. No report this evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. Reports from committees and districts. We'll start with, to my right, Commissioner Epperson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everything's doing good in the first district. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I've had a couple of complaints about the landfill, but other than that, nothing.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Hoffman.
The second district's doing well. I do have, each commissioner should have something in front of them. It's a resolution that I'm proposing for next Monday's vote. I won't go through the whole thing and read it out to you, everybody, but basically what it is the last 2 or 3 times we've done this non-contiguous situations, they've never been a sign posted anywhere on that property letting people know that there's something's going to happen to that property. So what I'm asking is that we pass a resolution basically like the rezoning sign that they put up that shows that that property is going to be asked to be annexed, and that's basically what it is, and it has 2 readings before we vote on it.
Okay. You're placing it on the agenda right for next
Yes,
week.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Anything else, Commissioner Hoffman?
Well, this is just another thing about transparency. You know, people talk about transparency all the time on this commission.
Yes.
This would bring it all transparency to everyone in the county that's be dealing with, you know, development in their area.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Blake.
I'm going to ask Commissioner Oliver a question real quick. Commissioner Oliver, these signs, I guess, who would pay for them?
The police in that corner, do the box.
So the person requesting annexation from the city would pay for the signs?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oswald in the 3rd District. However, I would like to congratulate the Walker Valley Marching Band. They brought home the big trophy from Seymour High School from Sevier County this past weekend. So congratulations to all the members there for a great season. This concludes their season. I think they have a Christmas parade left, but job well done. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Crowley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everything is well in the second, except we have a small issue that has come up in the vicinity of Love's truck stop with 18-wheelers parking on the side of the road, blocking the road just practically, and then they go down Frontage Road and turn around at the entrance to Falcon Crest subdivision. They've broken the water main a couple of times, and we're going to have to look into it. The state is looking into Highway 306 in front of Love's truck stop. Frontage Road is a county road, and we're going to see what we can do about that. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing. Last week I got a couple of calls from the constable and said, why wouldn't Gary Davis give us that money? And I said, well, it wasn't Gary Davis's place to give you that money. I said, Gary, I said, he had it, I said, it comes down to him, and I said, it's gotta go before this commission before any money's given out. I said, he can say it went to the emergency workers or whatever, but if there's anything in addition to that, like the constables, then it's gotta come before us to be voted on. In fact, all of it's gotta be come before us to be voted on. Is that, am I correct for saying that? I'm not correct? Tell me why I'm not. Who you asking? Anybody? Somebody shaking their head, no, I won't know.
I want, if I was mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the mayor and they also designated the county executives in that meeting. So if some counties go by county executive and some counties go by county mayor, they had exclusive authority to determine who is essential workers. So I may be wrong on this, but I kind of always thought, you know, the mayor is deciding who's going to get it, and the county commission working with the mayor is going to decide the amounts and all that kind of stuff. But the who, I believe that the mayor is solely on in the mayor's office to determine the who part of this equation.
Well, it seems to me that we voted on everything that came out,
We voted on
so evidently it had to be voted on.
We voted on the package, but I don't think I can make a motion, get a second, get 14 votes and say this group of people are essential workers. It wasn't, that authority wasn't given to the county commission, it was given to the mayor. Mayor, is that right or wrong?
I think it's correct.
Was the constables not brought up when the county employees, not the employees, but the elected officials was brought up at the same time last week? The constables were brought up too?
I don't know if the
Yeah.
I don't know if the constables were specifically brought up. I think elected officials, which they would be included in elected officials.
But anyway, I just want credit to go where it goes, where it's supposed to go, and I didn't, they asked me, said, well, why wouldn't the mayor give us that money? I said, well, I don't think the mayor could give you that money by himself. I think it'd have to come before that commission. Now, that's what I want to know, am I right or am I wrong? So, nobody can't answer it, I guess I'm right. Nobody wants to answer, okay. Best you could, okay.
I thought I did.
Yeah. Yeah, not for me, I mean, I'm still not satisfied with the answer, you know.
The mayor determines who essential workers are,
Yeah,
and he did that. And then the amounts were determined by the commission.
we could not come back and say, hey, we want to add the constables to that.
I think you have to request that of the mayor.
And if he says okay or what, then we have to still vote on it, right?
Well, I don't want to talk to you, Mayor.
Well, I just wanted, you know, I just don't,
That's what was said at the
I don't
meeting.
care to take the blame for it, if I'm at blame.
That's how the comptroller explained
Well-
it to us. But the mayor is well capable of speaking for himself.
Speak, Mayor.
I don't have any more comments on that subject, I'm sorry. If y'all debated what you're talking about, I understand where Howard's coming from, you debated elected officials, it didn't pass, so it didn't become an issue. If it had passed, then it would have been up to me to include it in with the others at your request, but it didn't pass. And I think what you're referring to is it didn't, I don't even know if it was voted on, you didn't have a motion. But either way, it didn't get added to the list, the elected officials. I think if it had passed, technically, then I would have been requested to make it part of the other county employees to follow the guidelines and the ARPA.
So
if it come before us and had a pass, it, possibility it could have been, it could have went to them, right?
But Howard, it doesn't bother me to say that elected officials are not getting a bonus, and that means all elected officials. I don't have a problem saying that, and basically you all back me up because you didn't vote to do otherwise.
Right. Okay, I just want to clear things up. I didn't, they called me and, was asking me why you wouldn't give that money. I said, I don't think it should take so to give you that money. So I might have been wrong there. I don't know, but that's what I understand. Anyway, that's enough.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Commissioner Crowder?
I think there's 2 points I'd like to make. Number one, they don't work for the Bradley County government. We went through that back in about 2015, when they all demanded insurance from the county. And we resolved that issue at that time, that they're not county employees. Number two, I thought it was very clear that no elected officials would receive a penny of this money. And that's the only thing I would like to comment on. Thank you.
Commissioner Thompson?
It wasn't about us getting any money, cause I'm gonna try to save up in $10 a piece and give to you for Christmas. Since you didn't get no bonus, I'll try to give you $10 a piece, so, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Everson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think there was some discussion about constables being state workers or state employee or something like that. If I remember correctly, or
That's been debated in the past, talked about in the past, yes. Commissioner Floyd?
So on that issue, as Commissioner Cry said, it was back in 2015. Twice we brought it up in finance, and Crystal came to both finance committee meetings, and it was about the health insurance, as Commissioner Cry alluded to, and Crystal, with documentation from the state, they are state employees. Clear? It's as clear as day.
Mr. Hughes?
I know.
Oh, I thought you had your hand up, I'm sorry. Thank you. Commissioner Woods?
His district's did well.
Thank you. Mr. Slater?
Just a reminder, the Legal and Legislative Committee will meet on Monday, November the 8th at 11 a.m. in the Commission Conference Room.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mason?
6 to 1. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Davis?
All is well in the 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Ray?
Have nothing in the 7th today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Winters.
I think everything's great, Senator.
Thank you, sir. Moving into the agenda items, item A, Commissioner Davis.
This is a resolution to designate the Bradley County Recreational Park Concession Stand as the Maggie Sims Concession Stand. Actually, it is the Bradley North Concession Stand that's going to be named in her honor. I would like to place this on the agenda, please.
Any discussion about that, Commissioner Hughes?
No discussion. Commissioner Davis, thank you for putting that on there. I've known Maggie for as long as I've been alive. We're actually kin. So I know her family appreciates it. I appreciate it too. Thank you.
I believe her maiden name was Black.
It was.
Correct. Yeah, Maggie Black, yes.
And I'll say more about this next week.
Sure.
So we'll have some special guests here, and we'll talk about everything that Maggie did for Bradley County. So thank you.
Thank you.
She was an amazing person.
She was. All right. Any communication from the audience? Yes, Ms. Gleason?
Just a couple of things.
So go through the routine, state your name.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I want to ask about. My name is Deborah Gleason, but we have a concern, some of us, of stating our address publicly because of the atmosphere that we live in nowadays. There's a lot of kooks out there, and there's controversy. And we wanted to suggest that maybe we hand our address to Ms. Moultrie, and then you have it so we don't have to state.
I don't
it.
have any issue with doing that. We would kind of like to know what district you live in though, just because commissioners, if you're in their district, will know.
Okay,
If you know,
okay.
it's-
Just Deborah
Yeah.
Gleason, District 4,
Okay,
that's fine.
thank you.
I'll let the others know that they can do that as well.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. At the October 18th, 2021, 12 p.m. Bradley County Commissioner meeting, an incident occurred that was a bit disconcerting to the taxpayers. Kim Ford was told by the chair, and I paraphrase, that she, Ms. Ford, must sit down or she would be physically removed from the room. Wow, that was unbelievable. This coming from a potential candidate for the position of county mayor is scary. Fortunately, this was all caught on video for others to review if they would like to. It is apparent that this was an attempt to silence the free speech of Ms. Ford. I am calling for a public apology to be made to Ms. Ford. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gleason. I appreciate what you're saying. However, we have protocol and procedures, and someone calling out in the middle of the meeting asking to be spoke is not part of the procedures that we go by. There's an opportunity for communication from the audience, which we allow, which we're doing now. And we also allow work sessions prior to the stuff we discuss to talk about that. Our numbers are public, our emails are public, they're welcome to contact any of us at any time. But I cannot allow people to just yell out and demand to be speak, or we would have chaos in trying to run a public meeting. It wasn't anything personal toward her. If I hurt her feelings, I'm sorry about that. But that's just the proper procedures and stuff that we go by. And I asked her multiple times. I don't remember saying I would have her physically removed, but I said I would have her removed. I did say that. And I would have. That's just because we cannot allow meetings to be just taken over. I think I've been very, very welcoming and allow people to speak, and will continue to do so, but it's going to be done in the proper way.
And may I respond to that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I really do appreciate that, and I agree with you totally.
But there was something that was noted, and of course she's new to this, and people that I know, I'm related to her, so I'm kind of passionate about it. She's a nice gal, and she's a smart gal. She really knows how to handle herself. But I guess what she was responding to was the fact that two of the people in the period where it was you were presenting about the county workers and the pay and all this, there were two that got up that were not part of that presentation. And they made a statement that she wanted to respond to and clarify, not knowing that she couldn't in view of the fact that, you know, they were getting up and saying something. So she was trying to correct and clarify a statement that was made that was not accurate. And to ask her, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, I didn't see her expressions, but I know she's not somebody that she's not going to go after somebody. I mean, she just is passionate about what she believes, and she wants to state that. But to be told that she needed to sit down when she wasn't yelling, she was just trying to understand. If you could have at least explained to her, ma'am, this is, if you'll let me explain, this cannot take place at this time because this is point of order. Something that was not so, to me, it was just uncalled for to say that, because that was kind of demeaning to her and to call her out like that. So that's where we're coming from.
I understand. I did not mean it to be demeaning at all. We typically, and when we're doing things like that, elected officials and department heads are allowed to, if they want to speak during discussions about things we're talking about, they are allowed to. That's kind of just the difference because they're part of it. But explaining that would probably help that and understand what you're saying.
Okay. Well, I think we're in the attempt right now to get as much information as we can on the Robert Rules of Order, and then how you conduct things here, especially with those of us who would be coming up and speaking, because we don't want that to happen again. you know,
Nor do I.
to the and I understand that. But I just want to make a point, I wanted to make a point of that we felt it was not handled properly.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would just like to add, I was here when all this happened too, and the chair has the obligation to conduct this meeting and keep it orderly. And she was not recognized by either any of the commissioners, or the two people that you were talking prior to that, I believe, were. Because the chairman asked several times for her to cease her comments and things, which she decided not to. So, I don't
Yes,
see
you're correct.
the chairman being out of order, at all. He just basically trying to conduct the meeting like he should have.
Right,
And
but
doing
as I
his job.
said, to say that we're going to physically remove you, I think that it should have been more of, have
Well,
a seat and I will explain to you that you can't do this,
She
something.
refused to abide by what he was asking her to do, to cease her comments and not, basically not being recognized by the chair or another commissioner. that
Well,
would-
we will be doing our best to educate anybody we know that will be coming in, and there are going to be quite a few that will be educating them to the quorum of how you handle things, so that this doesn't happen again, because,
I'm following procedure when I do what I do. I don't go out of bounds and try to do things that intentionally hurt people or whatever. And I'll get with you after the meeting if you want to talk more about it, and if you wouldn't mind, I might ask your Ms. Ford's number and give her a call.
okay,
Okay.
appreciate that, thank you.
Anyone else want to speak for the commission? State your name and address, please.
Donald Duck. Dan Rawls, I don't mind telling where I live, 139 Hall Norwood Road. Maybe some way to resolve some of this, because it's really not very obvious about what the protocol, what the procedure is. Maybe someone could fill out a protocol, what you do when you speak, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Because when an individual sees a presentation and then other individuals are allowed that are not part of the presentation to speak, then that would indicate that possibly that this is, kind of an open forum. I mean, I think if you said, if you just had a little sheet, a printout sheet, this is what we expect, because there has to be decorum and there has to be a procedure to everything in Robert's rules, even though, some of the things are not specific. There's a lot of ambiguity in what's going on. I think that, if that was made available to people, if it was available and you didn't read it, well, that's on you, But if it's not available and you don't really know what the protocol is, it makes it more difficult to follow a protocol that you're not aware of. I think that, and maybe even on that sheet put what your requirement is to get on the agenda, to speak. This is what we do. Because yes, control has to be maintained in a meeting. There's no doubt. You can't have 40,000 people out here screaming like idiots, like at a Tennessee football game or something, throwing stuff. Cheap shot. But anyway, so maybe somebody could print that up, and then everybody would kind of know what footing they were on and where they stood. And I think that would be advantageous to everybody, community and the commissioners and everyone.
Absolutely, we can always learn. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And lady.
Anyone else want to speak? Yes.
Lonnie Settlage, 2448 Executive Park Drive, Northwest, Cleveland, Tennessee, 37312. I've asked for that on 2 occasions from you personally, for a document that would show us what the decorum is and what the procedure is to get on the agenda, what the procedure is, how we conduct ourselves in front of people.
Okay, I don't remember you asking me for a document.
I'm sorry, apparently didn't make it clear enough.
You asked me for another document, but if you want that,
I would like it, yes, I would just second what Dan says, and I would like that document.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Evans.
I just wanted to point out, it's always on the agenda, always on the big screen there, number 7, communication from the audience. Periodically, some of the commissioners or the chairman or the mayor may choose to bring people in to, on an issue that they're talking about and correspond with that person, but they're recognizing the people that are in the audience, and then they come up to the podium and speak, but then anyone else in the audience is supposed to wait to number 7 right there, communication from the audience. It's in writing, and it's on the big screen at every meeting.
You know what I want.
Yeah, I will get you something about concerning that, and bottom line, the short version, I guess, is in order to speak, you have to be recognized by a commissioner.
Just give us something.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to speak?
Just point of order. If you're sitting over there, you can't see the screen. The screen is only visible from like this side here. If you're sitting over there, you can't see the screen. So I mean, the screen is not available to everyone in the room to the same level. So that's a little bit, you know. And if that was pointed out, if you want to know what's going on, look at the screen, then they would realize that. But you have to understand that when you're even sitting where I am, the screen's not real visible. If you're on that side, the screen is virtually into it. So, I mean, I understand your point, but.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak before the commission? Okay, that being said, announcements, next meeting, voting session Monday, November 1st at 7 o'clock here at the courthouse. Upcoming events, Spirits, Legend, and Lore, October 26th at 6:30 at the courthouse square. The block party, October 31st from 3 to 9 at the courthouse square. Finance Committee, November 1st, 11:30 a.m. in the Commissioner Room, and the Legal and Legislative Committee, November 8th at 11 a.m. Motion to adjourn.